If you've ever looked at a crowded concert and thought, I'd rather try to reason with a hungry grizzly bear, then congratulations, your brain has just performed a life-saving maneuver, pulling you from the wreckage of a psychological nightmare most people are too busy taking selfies to even notice. And no, you're not broken, you're not a weirdo, you're just operating on a completely different level. Picture this, it's Saturday night. Your phone, that tiny rectangle of impending doom, buzzes. It's a text from a friend. Hey, everyone's heading to that new rooftop bar downtown. It's ridiculously packed, but the vibe is insane. And just like that, your soul gently uncouples from your body and floats toward the ceiling. Not because you're allergic to fun, but because your highly advanced internal supercomputer just ran a cost-benefit analysis on the vibe and concluded that psychological and emotional bankruptcy is a terrible investment. You are not the problem. Your psychology is just playing 5D chess with wormholes, while everyone else is happily slapping down checkers and occasionally eating one. So, let's peel back the curtain on that magnificent over-caffeinated brain of yours and see what's really going on. Number 1. Your brain has absolutely zero chill, and it's a form of genius. See, most people's brains come equipped with a factory-installed spam filter. They walk into a crowded room, and their brain automatically goes, okay, delete 90% of this noise. Ignore the dude's hyena-like laugh, ignore the flickering light that's about to trigger a rave, ignore the 17 conversations happening at once. Poof, it's gone. Your brain? Oh, your brain doesn't have a spam filter. It has a screenshot button, and it's smashing it over and over and over. It's recording, analyzing, cross-referencing every single pixel of reality. Scientists, in their infinite wisdom, call this sensory processing sensitivity, which is a very fancy lab coat way of saying your brain is that one friend who notices everything, remembers everything, and will bring up that weird thing you said 3 years ago at a Tuesday brunch. Every time someone nervously shifts their weight, every flicker of an expression that flashes across a stranger's face for a millisecond, every subtle change in the bass line of the background music, you're not just noticing it, you're processing it, all at once. It's like everyone else is watching life in grainy 480p on a tiny phone screen, and you're strapped into an 8K IMAX experience you never bought a ticket for with the volume cranked to 11. Research shows that about 20% of the population has this trait. That means 1 in every 5 people is walking around with a nervous system permanently set to perceive literally everything or die trying. And here's the kicker. Your brain doesn't just collect this data like a hoarder. It meticulously catalogs it, files it, and cross-references it for future use. That bizarre throwaway comment a coworker made 3 weeks ago that everyone else forgot instantly, your brain filed it under potentially ominous foreshadowing and has scheduled bi-weekly review meetings. This isn't overthinking, this is your neural network doing its job with terrifying efficiency. It's designed to find the complex patterns that everyone else misses. And here's the wildest part. This trait is what kept our species alive. While the extroverts were vibing around the campfire, totally oblivious, your ancestors were the ones going, "Hey guys, does that shadow look a little lion-shaped to you?" They heard the twig snap. They noticed the poisonous berry that looked suspiciously like the edible one. They sensed danger before it even had a chance to introduce itself. You're not too much. You're a finely tuned prehistoric survival machine. The only problem is, modern society wasn't built for people who actually pay attention. Number 2, you're not antisocial, you're anti-bullshit. Let's get one thing crystal clear. You don't hate people. You hate the performance. You hate the little play everyone puts on in a crowd. Everyone's wearing a mask. There's the "I'm having so much fun" mask while their eyes are screaming for help. There's the "I'm completely engaged in this conversation" mask as they scan the room for someone more interesting. There's the classic "I'm fine, everything's fine" mask worn by someone whose eye is literally twitching. And you see right through all of it, every single flimsy, poorly constructed mask. And it is exhausting, not because you're sitting there judging everyone, but because your brain is running a constant real-time translation of the subtext. It's processing the words, yes, but it's also processing the body language, the energy, the hidden meanings, the vast unspoken truths simmering beneath the surface. Psychologists call this high perceptual sensitivity. Your emotional radar is so finely tuned, you're basically a human lie detector who never applied for the job and desperately wants to quit. A study from Cambridge University found that people who prefer solitude actually score significantly higher on emotional intelligence tests than their party-loving counterparts. Let me translate that for you. You're not socially awkward, you're socially sophisticated. You're a connoisseur of human interaction, and you refuse to settle for the cheap stuff. You'd rather have one raw, honest conversation at 3 a.m. than suffer through 50 networking events where everyone is just performing their LinkedIn profile. And that is not a flaw, that is a fortress of integrity. The issue isn't that you can't do small talk, it's that your brain experiences small talk like chewing on a mouthful of dry sand, while everyone else is pretending it's a gourmet meal. Your soul craves substance, depth, a real connection. Forcing you to discuss the weather is like asking a master chef to get excited about a microwaved hot dog. You're capable of it, sure, but at what cost to your dignity? Number 3. Your brain's reward system looked at parties and said, "Nah, I'm good." This is where it gets really fascinating. That famous brain chemical, dopamine, the feel-good party drug of the brain, works completely differently for you. When an extrovert walks into a loud, crowded party, their brain unleashes a dopamine tsunami. Fireworks, confetti, a marching band, the whole 9 yards. It's a full-on neurological rave. Your brain, crickets. A single lonely tumbleweed rolls by. That's because your system doesn't run on the cheap thrill of dopamine. It runs on a different neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. Think of acetylcholine as the brain's cozy night-in chemical. It doesn't reward you for loud noises and shallow interactions. It rewards you for introspection, deep focus, and, wait for it, being blissfully, wonderfully alone. It's not that social events give you no reward, it's that your brain gets its premium-grade, top-shelf high from completely different sources. Reading a book until 2 a.m., taking a long walk with your headphones on, where no one can ask you a single question. Just sitting in a quiet room, letting your thoughts unfold. While extroverts need external stimulation to feel charged up, you need internal space to even function. Neuroscientists have found that introverted brains literally have thicker gray matter in the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for abstract thought and planning. So when you're doing nothing, your brain is actually doing everything. It's processing, connecting, creating, and solving the mysteries of the universe. You're not wasting time. You're composing symphonies in your head while everyone else is being driven slowly insane by elevator music. That's not weird, that's next-level efficiency. Number 4, you're basically an emotional Wi-Fi router and you don't know the password. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt a wave of something, even when everyone is smiling and acting normal? That's because your brain has what scientists call mirror neurons, but yours are on steroids. They're not just mirroring emotions, they're downloading them directly into your nervous system without permission. You don't just observe feelings, you absorb them. Spend an hour in a crowded mall, and you're not just dealing with your own stress, you're accidentally siphoning the anxiety of the person in line behind you, the frustration of the crying toddler, and the simmering rage of the guy who can't find a parking spot. You're an emotional sponge that nobody asked to be. It's a psychological DDoS attack. Your nervous system is trying to process emotional data from 300 different sources while also trying to remember to, breathe. No wonder you need 3 to 5 business days and a silent meditation retreat to recover from a 2-hour brunch. But here's the superpower. This makes you one of the most empathetic and intuitive people on the planet. You understand subtext. You read between the lines. You sense what people need before they even know how to ask for it.
Most people are out here barely understanding their own emotions, and you're navigating the complex emotional landscape of everyone in a 10-foot radius. That's not a curse, that's a gift that would crush a lesser mortal. And finally, number 5, you're not running from life, you're running towards yourself. Our society has this bizarre, toxic obsession with equating busy and loud with successful and happy. If your calendar isn't a chaotic mess, if you're not at every event, posting every moment and surrounded by people 24/7, you're somehow failing. But you know the secret they don't. You've figured out the one thing most people spend their entire lives trying to avoid: themselves. Silence isn't empty, it's where clarity lives. Solitude isn't loneliness, it's where you finally get to hang out with the most interesting person you know. You're not missing out. You are consciously opting out of a frantic, noisy system that was never designed for people who think deeply, feel deeply, and see deeply. You understand something profound. The quietest rooms often hold the loudest truths. Your peace isn't isolation, it's liberation. So the next time someone asks you, "Why don't you ever go out?" just smile. Because they're not really asking that. They're asking, why don't you willingly drain your life force to fit into a space that was never built for a mind like yours? You're not broken. You're not boring. You're built for depth in a world that's obsessed with the shallow end. And frankly, that's what makes you so damn interesting. So, tell me in the comments, which team are you on? Team crowds are my blood life, or team I'd rather befriend a cactus? Let's find our people. And if this felt uncomfortably accurate, do me a favor and hit subscribe. Then click the next video on your screen because it dives into another introvert trait that will make you feel so seen it's almost spooky.